So when we mentioned earlier, we touched on balance and stability a little bit. Balance being like holding your balance, for example, on one leg, unilateral movements, like you were saying, but also having a well-balanced body. So for example, posterior and anterior trains both being strong. How does that fit into running training? Like how would you incorporate that into running training?
So I would say culturally, the balancing your body in space is not always something that people focus on, especially at the beginner levels. We don't think about it, but that's something that most beginners need. And really need. And I would say it could be a great way to get ahead of some of those repetitive stress or those bigger injuries that could show up while you're working out or training or racing. So balancing your body from a runner's perspective always starts at the feet. Always starts at the feet. So we spend a lot of time in shoes or combat boots or whatever variation of footwear we have. So getting yourself out of those and starting to activate the small muscles of your feet is a really good way to connect yourself to the ground. I will often get people to just take a towel, like your bathroom towel, and just scrunch it up with their feet. Spread it out, scrunch it up with their feet, spread it out, scrunch it up with their feet, just to get the little muscles of the arch of your foot activated. It doesn't take much for a lot of people. It's just you're not used to doing it, your brain hasn't been required to do it, so it doesn't, and then when you start doing it, that's a great way. Sometimes I'll get people to lift up their big toe, lift up their other toes, just to get the extension flexion, the extension flexion part figured out within their feet. So that's another thing you can do. From there, that kind of activates the muscles. We're creating that brain to body connection that's there, but it's sleeping. It's just not ready yet. Once that's ready, getting somebody to practice just a static single leg stance for 10, 15, maybe 30 seconds, or working up to that is a great way to gain control in a position that's relevant to the running posture.
I've seen it. I'm sorry to cut you off. I've seen, or actually I've taken part in the drill of standing on a single leg and closing your eyes just as a test. Would that be a good baseline test for a beginner, or would that be more advanced like later on down the line? For sure,
down the line. And you can even do some of these single leg stance either holding something lightly, just holding it, like not holding it to hold the weight, but just there. And then from that, bringing your hand away, but still have the ability to grab it if you require it. So that's a good progression there. But otherwise, just doing that static single leg stance on both sides is a good baseline. Eyes open. If that is becoming...
Don't get swept up in the hype.
That's right. It's easy to get caught up. If you really want to progress yourself because you like the challenge, you can start to move your body a little bit and try to have that foot on the ground react to the changing in the center of gravity of your body. It's subtle, but it's enough that it's going to challenge a single leg because it's such a small base of support. So that's a good way to do it. You can close your eyes. That's another challenge. It gets the inner ear involved. But I don't think it's necessary for most of us to do stuff like that. Certainly as you become more advanced, you could do that. What I would suggest doing is from the static stability stuff you're doing with your foot, getting into more dynamic. And what I mean by that would be like a balance walk, a heel-toe walk. We sometimes don't think about our single leg balance because every time we take a step and we're about to fall, we just step on our other foot, and that goes continuous. But when you bring our feet in line, we are removing our side-to-side stability from our wider hip stance, and then we're relying on the tripod of our feet, the heel and then the big toe and the little toe. So, and then the little muscles that control that tripod. So doing that balance walk, heel toe, forward, backwards is good too. Up onto your toe, back down, all under control, not letting gravity drop you down. All really good ways to dynamically develop the stability within your foot. So always sort of activate the muscles, work on it statically, then work on it dynamically, and then the dynamic can progress in terms of difficulty, intensity, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.